felt like you're stuck in your comfort zone? That you're thinking in a very linear way? Anyone?
Yes.
Great, good numbers. Have you ever felt like you're so understimulated and bored when you're watching a movie or you're scrolling reels on Instagram and suddenly it's night time outside? Come on, everyone thinks it. We've all been. And have you ever felt like you're tongue-tied and you're lost for words? Don't lie, last favorite topic session. And what if I told you, would you believe me if I said that all these three problems have just one solution? Good evening, dear Toastmasters and guests. And can anyone guess what is the solution I'm referring to here? Any guesses?
Practice.
Practice. Sorry? Join Toastmasters. Very good. Round of applause for that. Any other guesses?
Hold it.
Oh, yeah, well, okay.
Read.
But, sorry?
Read.
Read? Read. Okay. We are clever audience members. That's exactly what I was going to talk about. Today I'd like all of us to spend the next 5 to 7 minutes exploring this new kind of solution, which is reading. The written word travels across countries, across the world, across time zones and across generations. It allows us to peek into the minds of people, of stories, of places, of eras that remain inaccessible to us. And often, these are people and stories we admire. For example, when I was growing up, I remember reading Wings of Fire by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and being so inspired as an 8th grader who knew nothing about aeronautical engineering that I want to become an aeronautical engineer. I didn't, obviously, but I retained so many good lessons about humility and perseverance from that book. And I've retained them for so long into adulthood because I heard all of it in Dr. Kalam's voice when I was reading that book. I also remember clearly growing up, encountering my first gay character in a book about Greek mythology. Can you imagine? And it changed my worldview completely. And in fact, in a way, it helped me come to terms with my own queer identity. Because here is a gay kid who's fighting off monsters and acting like a total superhero. And that inspired me. And it's not just books about former presidents or Greek gods that can give you something worthwhile. It's also stories of ordinary people. For example, I remember reading my grandfather's diary, with his permission of course. And I remember feeling so privileged and understanding it truly when I read his accounts of pre-independence India. The diary entries were not beautifully written, and honestly his handwriting was not even legible at all. And today my grandfather can barely remember where I work, but his lived experience is immortalized in the pages of that diary, and I got to live it just for him. So the next time you're in need of a fresh perspective, you feel like you're thinking in a very linear way, you want to think outside the box, and you want to experience something outside of what you've been experiencing so far, go and pick up a book. We, as a human race, have written about everything from the beauty of nature to alien invasion. So we are spoiled for choice, am I right? But here you will ask me, all that is fine, Devyani, but the thing is, there are movies that are made on pre-independence India, there are short films, I can watch a film on APJ Abdul Kalam. Why are you asking me to read? Because who has time to sit around and read a book, can understand it, etc. So then I have an exercise for you today. Let's all close our eyes for a second. I suppose, including my one. Please. Alright. You are in a field filled with flowers. There is a smell of ripe fruits in the air. The air smells crisp. And there is a beautiful bird song in the air as well. Scene is set. Everybody is imagining it. Alright, let me ask Karthik, my mentor, eyes closed. What is the color of the flowers?
Light pink, purple. There are a few, and then we have all the yellow ones on the other side.
Okay, great. Let me ask Toastmaster Marika, what is the fruit that you're smelling in the air?
Apple.
Apple, great. Love apples. And anyone else wants to volunteer the name of the bird that is singing the song? Any thoughts? nightingale, amazing. Alright, let's all open our eyes. I'm sure none of you have imagined the same flower, the same fruit, the same bird song, or the same scene. For example, in my mind, it was night time, and I was looking at the stars as well as I was appreciating the scene. And that is the power of reading. It allows you to immerse yourself in your story, and your mind constantly creates images, sounds, smells, voices, and so much more. And you can watch your story unfold in a way that only you know. And perhaps that is why when we consume a lot of visual content, a certain kind of lethargy sets into us. Because films, for example, or movies, would present the content to you as the director sees it or the cinematographer sees it. But books are not that. They are different, they are special, and they are wonderful. And the moment you do this active consumption, which is what I like to call it, because your mind is doing so much more rather than just reading words on paper, it definitely manifests in the way you express yourself. For example, just last week I happened to be in Mumbai and I was visiting one of my friends who was going through a tough time. And coincidentally on the flight, I happened to be reading this book about a woman who lived in the 90s in Mumbai who was facing her own demons, fighting her own demons of mental illness in a time where there was a lot of stigma. Although we live in 2024 and there's a lot more information available to us, just reading the struggles of that woman helped me find the right words, the right emotions that I could convey to my friend and she could feel solace in my words as well. And this is not just something that has impacted my personal relationships, but in the professional scale as well. When my boss asks me a very tough question, I know exactly what to say because I've read enough characters like him in books and I know exactly what to hear. Right? So I've never had a bad review as such. I pat myself on the back for that. And so reading really does inculcate this habit of active consumption and active production as well. You tune your mind in such a way that you are able to control and bring in a cocktail of beautiful words and emotions that you can convey to any person. And if you didn't need more proof, let me give you a small twist. And the fact is, and my mentor can vouch for this, I did not prepare for this speech. It was completely impromptu, based on the culmination of everything that I read. I only had a few pointers here and there, and believe me, I'm saying the truth. You can ask Karthik later. But I just wanted to make a point about how stepping outside your comfort zone comes to reading, active consumption comes to reading, and expressing yourself in a much more fruitful way comes to reading. And I don't know how many of you are inspired to pick up reading, but if you're thinking about it, I'll be right at the back with book recommendation.